Yay! Oh my goodness. Hello everybody. How are you today? I'm Tom and this
I'm Kevin.
is Kevin Watt. And over there we have Ed Hargrave.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm alright. How are you? You good? You good?
Really well, yeah.
What an exciting week
I know.
this week is.
Right.
Dreams is out for some of you and Dreams is coming out for the others.
Yep.
I'm a little bit wired. I've been in Berlin this week.
Yes, I was going to say
showcasing Dreams to a load of new people and meeting some of our lovely community members in Berlin, which is wonderful. The other team members are all over the place.
How tired are you?
I'm fine.
It's full of energy. This
all
man.
good.
Full of energy.
It's all good. It's all.
I was supposed to go, but I couldn't go because they cancelled my flight.
Yeah, because of the storms.
Yeah.
Anyway, today we are going to be.
We're talking backwards compatibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you haven't read, Kev did an amazing blog on docs.indreams that covers off a load of stuff that may have changed because there's been, a handful of changes to the game.
There's more than a handful, really. There's lots of changes, and because everyone's on the same code with Dreams, sometimes, and particularly if moving from early access to the full release, we've wanted to fix things, we've wanted to add things, and in doing so, there are going to be one or two knock-ons, and we're going to work our way through some of those today. I've got some examples, and the people whose they are have accepted for me to dive into their levels. And we're actually working on so I'll probably go into a little bit of the process as well as we go through of how we've managed this as we've come up to release. And so one of the things is that we have a server with a copy of production, with a copy of all your levels, so I can go in and mess about and figure out what's wrong with them. Not just me.
The power, that's insane.
The power.
Yeah, it's the power of dev.
It is all power today.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're going to do the same again. We'll be on that server, so we'll be touching your levels, but there'll be a copy of your levels. We're not going to break anything.
We're just simply going to help you fix
just
things.
to try and illuminate you guys on what we've changed, why we've changed it.
And if you do have any questions about changes you've noticed, let us know. The chat's down there. I'm laptop free today. Because it's over there, because it's helping Kevin.
I have the laptop for some debug stuff, yeah.
So I will be watching your chat down here. So if you've got any questions, things you've noticed, let us know. We'll be here for at least, at the most, like a couple of hours.
Let's see how we get on.
Go.
I reckon I've got some examples. So I reckon if we dive into them, and then while we do that, maybe some people will suggest some things, and we'll make a note, and then we can look at them. Maybe do some more live debugging, which will be interesting.
See how we go.
As we go, yeah.
Right.
So, without further ado, let's start with our first issue, which is with turbulence.
By Sandero Bros.
Yes, and so this is in the document of what I'm going to show. So there's two problems we're having with turbulence. One of them I'm still investigating. I was informed, Sandero Bros let me know about it today, and I'm still investigating, and I don't know exactly what's causing it yet, which is the sort of frame of delay in the vehicle as it's moving very fast. So we're still investigating that. But there's another issue that we found when doing the backwards compatibility testing on this level, and that is with the checkpoints. And this happens in the document. I used Prometheus as my example. It has the same problem. So if we drive along here, trigger the checkpoint, and then kill ourselves, you'll note that we've been respawned at the beginning of the level, not at the checkpoint.
Right.
So let's just rewind that. Go to edit mode, edit this version. So the reason for that is, if you've looked at the document, you might know this, but the reason that has changed is that in early access, we were a little bit unclear about what control sensors were allowed to use a checkpoint. And sort of all of them were. And as we've moved up to release, we wanted to sanitize that. For instance, I think one of the main examples was, should an NPC character, if it died, spawn at a checkpoint?
Right.
Probably not in most cases. And so we've changed it. So now if you want to make use of a checkpoint, you have to be possessed. And in this example, and it was the same in Prometheus, they're actually using remote control.
Oh. People talking in the office.
Which you can see here. So the main control sensor is actually set to remote control. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that over to possession. So now it's a possessable character. It should make use of checkpoints. And interestingly, I noticed when we turn on possessable, forced possession is already on, which suggests to me that maybe remote control was actually only on for testing when you were making the level and you just never flipped it over. Doesn't matter. You know, so in theory, what should happen now is I kept hitting this snag when I was doing it before. For some reason, it doesn't always force possession, so we might need to add a bit of logic. That's worked that time. Cool, so we're now a possessable control sensor. We go through the checkpoint.
Yeah, whoop.
We die. And this time it has
amazing.
moved us to the checkpoint. Let's just test that with another checkpoint down here. So hopefully that's kind of makes sense to people and they can kind of understand why we've done that. And hopefully the fix is fairly easy in most cases. Later on we'll maybe look at an example of the issues surrounding forced possession, because there are one or two of those which are again in the document, and I know at least a couple of people have successfully solved those issues by using the document. So,
Right.
but maybe we'll touch on them in a bit.
Okay, cool.
So that's our first backwards compatibility issue, is with checkpoints and possessable.
Pounch. If you have an issue with your current creations, let us know in the chat, and we can hopefully try and answer them.
Yeah,
Let us know
absolutely.
what your creation is, and we can have a look. But that's cool. That's so if anyone encounters that bug,
Yeah,
then
so if you're playing your level and you notice the checkpoints aren't working, that's probably the reason. If you already know that your level has been designed to use remote control, then you might, chances are you can use possessable. Usually, I've not really come across any cases where moving it to a possessable control sensor suddenly just completely broke the system. In Prometheus, the example is quite interesting because the character actually makes use of sort of 6 or 7 control sensors, all on remote control, and it was just about making the main one possessable, and it solved the problems.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully that's simple enough. Okay, next one in my list is Mandelbo. Shout out to Mandelbo. Shadow Dance at Olive Top has an example of the text, screen space text always on top issue, which is probably going to be the most common issue people are going to have, because we made a lot of changes to the text gadget, and also people have used them very widely in very different ways. It was a very tough issue to sort of solve. So the debate essentially was, do we even go for this performance fix, which is what we did, which has caused the backwards compatibility issue. And then having done that, do we automatically turn on the fix always on top or not? And that basically just came down to us looking at how many levels are affected, how do they use the text, and in the end we decided that it was best to leave always on top off and get people to apply that fix where they needed it, rather than turn it on and then a whole other group of people would have to turn it off again. It's like, well, who do we support here? And we decided to go with the earlier, which is to have it off and have users who notice a problem turn it on, which we'll do now with Shadow Dance. Is it called Shadow Dance?
Yeah, Shadows Dance at Olive
Is it
Top.
Shadows Dance?
No, Shadow Dance at Olive Top, sorry, yeah.
And it's interesting because, some levels make use of sort of layering of text gadgets and don't suffer from this, and yet some levels do. So it's quite interesting looking at all the different levels to try and figure out exactly what was the most common use case. So let's have a play of this.
And obviously, we never really expected people to be using text gadget in the way that they were. It's like
exactly.
one of the most strangely used gadgets throughout the whole.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Sketchy Cosmos. Yeah, if your creation's got an issue or like an issue with since the update, let us know. We just sit here and help you with any creation if we had time, but we kind of want to cover backwards compatibility stuff today.
Yeah, that's really the focus is going to be on just getting people, where people have come back to their levels and they found them broken because of changes we've made. We want to get those fixed up so that you can, for the full release, people can have their levels there in all their glory for people to play, minus the issues that have been created by this.
Zeke, why do you have to go through tutorials before you can access your creation? Because this is the full release of Dreams, there will be new people playing Dreams, so we had to sort of choose the best way, and obviously you guys know so much of how Dreams works, but yeah, you get to see a load of the new changes as well, a load of the new additions to the home space, so once you've got past that you can obviously access everything, but that's the reason why.
Nice. Okay, so here, if you can see, I don't know if anyone's played this level. Hopefully you have. It's
It is
very good.
Yeah.
Up at the top, we have our sort of battle timer, imminent battle, and we noticed that there seems to be an overlap issue. That is not what it's supposed to look like. So let's go to edit mode. And then let's find the logic for that, which I think is over here. Entry methods.
Mr.
player
Toki, what was
info,
your audio question?
Inventory. There we go. Encounter gauge, that was the one. So one of these needs to be set to always on top. Not that one. Maybe it's this one. Here we go. Yes, there you go. That's still not quite right. Maybe two of them need to be on always on top. We've got sort order as well to figure this out. So, as I say, it's harsh because the people who've made really extensive use of this gadget are going to be the ones who have the most issues to solve with it, I guess.
Yeah. But
Mandelbo is probably like, what are you doing to my level, Kevin? This is why I didn't work with you on this. Here we go, this is where I make a mess of it. So I can't quite tell which one's which. Probably because they're all on. It's not that, there we are. I think this was meant to be in the middle, so it's odd that it's moved down. Maybe that's a mistake on my part. I think that's what it's supposed to look like.
Sure.
So there we go, we fixed. With a bit of fiddling, we fixed the layering of that. Sorry, Mandelbo, if I've got that slightly wrong, but hopefully that clues you in. And almost all those text issues will be solved with a combination of sort order and always on top.
Right.
And there are other examples, and I'm sure it might, as I say, it's probably the most common one, so maybe people have some that we can have a look at for them and help them out with in a bit. Okay, great. So that's a text issue in that level.
I'm just really enjoying seeing behind the scenes of some of these creations.
Yeah, it's been very fun. I do have all the power. I do really enjoy going in, and it's really interesting just from a QA point of view anyway, just sort of seeing how people are using the logic and how they've achieved things and finding out they've achieved them in very interesting ways. So
Matthew Midnight says, I scrapped one of my releases. It was only marginally affected, but I built it a year ago and I can't remember the workings of it. I don't mind at all though. The trade-off for what we got is amazing. Oh, thank you. Yeah. The reaction has been so good online, hasn't it?
it has. It's been really moving.
You've all been enjoying Artstream, which has filled the hearts of many a molecule. I'm excited. I'm going to go home and play it today.
Really?
Yeah. Like I've obviously seen loads of pieces, but like,
have you ever played it in one sitting?
I haven't played it all in one sitting, so that is my evening. And I'm going to cry.
I've played it so many times.
Yeah.
So many times. I've never ever replayed a game that I've worked on because you test it. In testing, we play it just over and over.
It has to be a certain amount of time, doesn't there? Before it's like again to do that. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so exciting. I'm so exciting as a person.
You are, Tom.
I'm so excited just to see everything that's gone on.
Okay, next in my list is another text issue, but this time this is another really common one, is where screen space text is underlapping the black bars.
Right.
So let's just quickly get it to happen. And remind myself who this is. Yeah, Fireburn02. I apologise. I'm going to super dash through here to get the issue to happen.
Speed run.
So speed run. Yeah, I'm going to run through. Basically, at one point, someone will start talking to me, and we won't be able to see what they're saying, and it's because the black bars are overlapping that text.
Okay.
So
another text one.
It is another text one. As I say, it's going to be the most common, and I will probably beat myself up for eternity over whether or not we made the right call in turning off or on or whatever.
I remember the content team were making changes to the text gadget and the visuals behind it that you can use as the sort of hatching the textures behind the text. They was being changed right until the last minute.
It's been like one of those gadgets here that's just like taken a life of its own, hasn't it? Just because it can do so much more than.
Yeah, people see the potential and they're like, right, I want to use this for X, Y, Z.
Yeah, cool. I guess it's one of those things that's really spawned from the beta and early access. Just
definitely,
seeing its use. Oh, thank you, Bella. Bella says I am exciting.
Hey, Bella. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but as I ran up to that character, black bars appeared. and then it seemed to pause, and it's because this interesting young one text was hidden under the black bars. So I'm just going to select all the text in this cutscene and apply always on top. So now if we switch back to play, you can see what it's saying again.
Hey!
So this is going to be a really common one, but as you can see, hopefully the fix is super easy for you to apply. Often, actually, the hardest part for me is finding the problematic gadget when something's gone wrong. Usually it's quite clear which of our code changes has broken something, but finding the logic within your very complicated levels can be quite difficult. That one's really easy. It was all. But
you enjoy the challenge, though. They're putting you through your paces.
I do absolutely enjoy it. It's very fun, and it's stuff we do here anyway. So actually, when these code changes go in, and we're still developing, what you guys experience is exactly what the guys here experience, and we'll get level designers come over and go, hey, this is broken. We're like, oh yes, it's this code change, blah, blah, blah. And then we obviously make a note that, in the future, we're going to have to explain this to the community. But we deal with the problems in very similar ways, going in and debugging the level, trying to help the designer understand what's gone wrong and what code change caused it.
Well, who just said about Robbie Roo? Ruby Roo, we will timestamp this on YouTube so that you can jump to bits and pieces, so you can see, like, if you're after like that exact text gadget change, you can just jump straight to it.
Yeah, great. I can also we can update some of these examples I picked because then they weren't in the document because it made sense to try and show other ones. But we can also, if it's interesting people, I have all these fixes already planned, so it's easy for me to add them and just expand the document if that would be helpful to people.
And as Tap says, it's definitely worth checking, and we say it's definitely worth checking out the doc as a whole, because it's amazing, and we'll be adding to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll treat it as a live.
Is that on indreams.me or is that?
It's on docs.indreams.me. Tap had because I have no laptop, I can't put the link, but Tap did pop the link in. And Tap, if you could be so kind, if you could link the chat again to the doc, that would be amazing. Go, my child.
Tap Charles is low-key running our stream for us.
Yeah.
Okay, next issue was not really covered in the doc, so this one will definitely get added to it. I found this the other day when doing some testing.
Which is interesting because Sewer was actually one of the more recent publishers just before the end of before the release came out.
Yeah, and we've been testing this. Backwards compatibility has been going on for months. We've been testing with each code change and trying to prepare for this moment. And so when we got new levels in, we kept going all the way up to release. And I found this one the other day.
Yeah.
And this one is a checkpoint issue, but not the same as the checkpoint issue we showed previously. In this one, it's all to do with timings. So if we play normal and we dash, can I remember how to play this game?
You can do this. Yeah.
I can remember how to play this game. Excellent.
I'm a fan of this.
This is very fun. I really enjoyed it.
So
And it's funny because I didn't notice it initially because I'd become so good at the game. I never died. But then at one point I did die. Like so, and this happened.
Yeah,
Now that's wrong.
That's
obviously. And the reason is because we've been changing the way checkpoints work, and wipes and other things. And so one of the additions to checkpoints, if I quickly turn on X-ray so I can find the logic. Here we go. So the fix for this issue is to solve a timing issue that's occurring within both the character and the checkpoint itself. So I can remember where my character is. I might need to run time again to get them to appear.
While Kev searches, enchanted entity. There is no changing your PSN name won't affect anything. It'll literally just change your PSN name in Dreams. And also Cheshire Creeper. You won't need to buy the game again if you've got early access. It's just been updated, and you've actually got a couple of days early access to the full game.
Feel free, though.
Feel free to buy it. If you want to go buy a box product, that'd be amazing. There we go. So,
okay.
Yeah, if you ever need a chance, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I ask you here to do this big stream.
It's quite all right. Done all this prep work.
I'm so sorry.
So,
being me.
Yes, the timings are wrong here. So essentially, the character's spawning too late. And so I found that the best way to solve this was to add a delay before respawn. And now this is missing from my doc, and I need to add this, this is a new set of features to allow you to control when respawns happen, both with single characters or with multiplayer if you're doing some sort of couch co-op, like when if both characters die together, so they don't spawn on top of each other and things like that.
Okay, yeah.
So I think the way to fix this one was to add a delay to the checkpoint itself. And now if I come out and just run time, I think that wasn't quite enough. Just got catapulted off.
Dush.
So the other thing to do was, this is interesting, this is a great example of where you go in and you think, oh, I know how they're going to set this up. It's going to be really simple. And they're like, oh, what's this? He die. Death.
Labelling it though.
So this is interesting. Yeah, good work on labelling it, because sometimes I go in and nothing is labelled. So interestingly here we've got, when the character loses the health, it dies. And the die input goes through a timer and then sets the respawn. But the timer is after the he die signal. Come down here. He die is here in the checkpoint. So the other thing that I found that I needed to do to get this timing to work was to remove the trigger from is dead to he die.
It's gonna make
and
me laugh,
actually
please.
take that out of death instead.
Okay. Longback Spyboy creator is actually in the chat, so take note.
I think that solves it.
There it is. Yay!
Okay, so I'm just
You
gonna,
don't die.
You die, then you not.
He died, then he not.
Undie.
just check that works. Brilliant, we're back. It's all timed up. Now, as I play on, what we'll find is get to another checkpoint and the same problem. So we fixed the issue of the timing within the he die receiver and transmitter, but you'll actually need to apply the timing to each of the checkpoints. So I think here is the other checkpoint. Oh, worked. Interesting. Well, give it a test. That's the most important thing when you're doing all of these things, whether you're applying a fix or you're just checking a level. Just do test it all and double check those checkpoints, because this one does not have this timing. So maybe that wasn't required, actually. Maybe the solution only requires you to do the
I think it was the
die.
positioning of the platform. He actually survived, and the platform didn't. He didn't get.
Maybe.
So he drowned before because there wasn't something there to stop him.
That's a good point. Yes, I think you're right. It didn't fall in.
So you see he's there now. Oh, wait, no.
No, I think you are right, but I think now it's better. So each of the checkpoints needs that delay added to it of 1 second.
As Mr. Toby says, he live.
He live! So interesting, I noticed something else which we'll quickly look at here. And this was in early access. This is not a backwards compatibility, but I noticed that if you jump out here, you can sort of escape the level and you get into this weird drifty death thing. And I think that's just really a case of going through and just checking your collisions. It happened to me quite a lot when I was replaying it, so I think if we quickly go in and just look at the construction of the level and just check there's a decent collision. That is collidable. How did I make it through that? I can't quite tell how thin it is. It might be that this cylinder is very thin. Let's turn on studio lighting.
Oh, someone asked, does Art's Dream have any of these issues? No, probably not. Well, we'd hope not.
Hopefully
because
not.
otherwise...
Yeah, hopefully not. But exactly what I was saying before is that when we were developing Art's Dream, yes, these issues did occur. You know, suddenly, why is this level broken? It's like, oh, well, we've changed this bit of code. And then we fixed it in Art's Dream, and then we make a note to then, okay, we're going to have to find examples of this in community and then do this stream and help you guys understand it.
Yeah, because Art's Dream is just built with the same tools that you have, so anything that affects you would have affected us. But
do you have a favourite bug from Art's Dream, Kev?
From Art's Dream, favourite bug.
Oh, I hope there's some videos.
It would have to be, just the silly animation bugs where suddenly, like, Art's supposed to walk down some stairs, but instead he face plants across them or something like that. Like, they're the funny ones.
I saw one of my favourite bugs was it's in one of the tutorials, and you've put together. It's like you put together like a robot with wheels and stuff, and it's like. And the narrator, architect goes, "Look at that! It's beautiful," and it fell apart. it just went.
And Cuthbert cries.
You know? Matthew Midnight. Is there any way to estimate how much time? A lot of
What's the question?
time spent building Art's Dream.
Well, I mean, it's been
Been going for a while.
iterated on for years, yeah. And some of the designs, I think Way to the Past is the oldest level, I believe, to actually have been sort of conceived and essentially not changed throughout. It had, but it was probably also revisited in terms of having to fix it because of code changes the most. 'Cause it makes heavy use of physics, joints. It was also probably the first real sort of cutscene level. I think Mike had to return to it a lot of times to solve problems where it was like, oh, let's fix this in procedural animation, and then Mike would, head in hands, you've just broken this, and he'd have to reanimate something, or
We'll hopefully do some art streams in the future. So, right, have we got any questions before we move on?
I'm going to move on from this level. I don't know quite why that issue of falling out of the level is happening, but I would suggest an easy fix might be to just put a big death modifier under the level, so if it does happen, at least there's something there to like back up, kill the player, and get the respawn, because sometimes you end up sort of drifting and nothing happens.
To make sure he die.
Make sure he dies.
Make sure he die.
Exactly.
I'm having a look while you move on to the next one.
Solved. Next.
Solved next. He didn't die.
Next. Semi-solved. I mean, I solved one, not fully solved the other. I will investigate and I will give you a better fix for that collision problem.
I'm really sorry, I never want to mispronounce people's usernames, but the person who just asked, are you fixing bugs in community creations right now? We're giving you tips and fixes on how to fix your bugs, because there's obviously been a lot of changes between early access and the full release of Dreams, which early access players got yesterday. And Kev is going through some of his backwards compatibility stuff to help people if they encounter some of the same issues.
Yeah, for those just joining us, we explained at the beginning that we're actually on a sort of special server with a copy of all your levels, so that if I do massively make a mistake and delete the internet, then if I delete the internet, we're all doomed. But if I delete this server or something, it won't matter because your stuff will be protected. We don't really fix things for you guys. There's obviously so many levels, so many users. It would be a bit, you can't favouritize one
Pick
person
favourites.
over another.
Favourites,
We can't fix everyone's stuff. I don't know if there's any
But we're like you guys.
legal issue with that as well.
No,
because
I think
it's your
it's more-
stuff.
yeah.
I don't know if we're actually allowed to go and edit your stuff. I
But
don't
we're
know what the rules
so
are.
you guys are so available. To help
I'm always
out, right?
available.
Yeah, he's very
Always.
helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin.
Okay.
What's next?
Got a great one next. Cold Conundrum,
Oh, yes.
which is actually a sort of a new one. It was a doozy.
And it was actually Intratac was sharing it on social media yesterday. So
Yes, I worked in Intratac out yesterday to solve it, and I think generally we came up with a solution. So I'm going to demo that solution now.
while it loads, Apple Squid asked who's going to be the first to get the platinum. I believe someone's already got the platinum. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Was it Mark Minascalchi?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was that. We have.
It was one of us. Yeah. He knows where How did you find the prizes that are really well hidden? Is there already a walkthrough or something that tells people where the prize? There's some prizes that I had to ask to find.
Yeah. Media Market, someone was talking about there being a distinct lack of sass in the new update. Is there any way of getting that back or something close?
Yes, we'll talk about that in a bit.
People's sass things are going down.
Yeah, so we've changed
Nightmare.
we've changed procedural animation. And,
Right.
And the big main reason for that was to try and improve running, because we've all through early access, it's very hard to get a good run cycle out of a character. So we reworked the procedural animation to get better run cycles, and inadvertently, the sass has become less of a sort of feminine hip wiggle sass and become more of a sort of body twist. So now you get slightly less sort of what would be the isolated movement within the hips, and it's actually sort of more of a full body. I don't know what the word is.
If you're just tuning in now,
it's
we're
still
being sassy.
but it's just less. It's not got that sort of feminine. Sort of focus on the hips.
People are going to be pining for pre-release sass. You realise now it's going to be.
I want sass back.
That's what the slider. When we add a new slider, it'll be called
Double
pre-release
sass.
slash.
Release the
sass.
Release the sass cut.
Okay, let's quickly look at this. But we'll talk about that a bit more in a bit.
We have plenty of time, Kev.
We have plenty of time. Don't rush.
No,
I always rush.
chill.
That's my biggest
you
problem.
to take some breathes.
I need to take a chill.
Talk about what you had for lunch. What do you want to do? No, actually.
I had delicious food for lunch by Kath and Owen. Thanks, Kath and Owen. Okay, so let's demo the bug. The bug is if you're moving quickly when you reload or do a melee attack, the animation glitches out and perfect. Look at
There
that.
it is.
We've got a detached hand, a dislocated hand.
That looks so painful. Imagine if you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, not good. And it's an interesting one. I'm not exactly sure. I'm actually in the middle of bisecting the code to try and figure out exactly which code revision changed this. And I think it's probably got something to do with the joint, the fix-up code for joint data, which is another one we'll cover in simpler examples, because generally that's quite a simple problem that can be solved quite easily.
Shout out to that straight up logic there. Like, there's a lot going on, but that is.
I mean, was one of the interesting things doing this level. This logic is complicated. There's a lot here, and there's some really good naming, and there's some less. There's less useful. So the circuits themselves are named, but when we go in, there's less so. But it wasn't actually. It didn't take me too long to figure out a solution to this. And essentially, the problem is that we have lots of different animations that are running, and when they end, what seems to be happening is that the character is trying to go back to just a base pose with no animation on top. And I think something's playing badly with the physics engine and the joints, basically, so that when the animation stops, you're moving at high speed and it's trying to return to the base pose, it just makes a complete mess of it. So, and I'll know more when I bisect and find the exact code that changed it. But the fix was to basically take an animation. When I was debugging, here's where I got confused with the naming, because I was like, oh, which what does what?
Keyframe.
But up at the top here, these ones appeared to be the sort of pose anim. And so what I found was, and I think that, remember the name again? Intract out. Intra-tack out. Found a slightly more in-depth use of this fix, but I'll just do it as I understood it. So I'm going to take that animation, I'm going to put it on the main circuit, and then I'm going to name it actually base pose. Just so that I know what it is. Okay, and then I'm going to do it with NOT gates. You could also do this with animation, but I will do it with NOT gates for now. I'm going to wire that into our base pose. And then I'm going to take the NOT gate and I'm going to put it on the reload anim. And I'm going to make that NOT gate reach as far as just that final keyframe.
Yeah.
And then that goes into the NOT base pose. So while the anim's running, it's going to turn off the base pose, and then it will come on just at the end, and hopefully that should blend quite nicely.
And will it stay on afterwards, or is it
the base pose will stay on, because the NOT gate's basically constantly powering it.
Yep.
And then we're saying, well, during this animation, turn off. And so we could have done it a different way, which was to not use a NOT gate, but just simply use an animation. In fact, I can show that in a minute if people are interested in the alternative method.
No, that makes sense. I understand what you're doing.
Okay, melee. Kevin, where's melee? There's melee. So go into melee, and we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to put a NOT gate down for the duration of the animation. We're going to wire that to NOT base pose. Additionally, I'm going to add a small amount of blend onto this base pose just to help smooth in and out of the animation when we're switching between the different states. That should get us a result that's satisfying. Still a little bit of a... not perfect.
But the hand is not...
There's a step I've forgotten. And I remember all of this now. I know, right? Prepared for ages for this, and still managed to forget. Oh well. Okay, so one of the things I'm also going to do is we're going to edit that base pose. By doing so, it actually automatically takes us to the scope, or the main scope of the animations. And I'm going to delete the FK off the hand, and I'm going to, with triangle, and I'm going to reapply an IK instead. So that's inverse kinematics. So it's going to try harder to store that position, is the idea. And so now, we're not got any glitches.
Oh, that's clean, that is.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. So interestingly, in early access, I was talking to intra-tack out.
Intra-tack out.
I'm getting it.
No, you nailed it.
I'm getting it. And yeah, there was already, even in early access, there was some slight glitchiness to the way the animations transitioned. And using this fix has not only fixed our bad, broken poses, but it actually gets rid of that. So hopefully, we're actually getting a better result by doing this.
Nice. You can already see
Yeah, I think actually, if you look closer, you can see that the other hand is possibly doing something. You can't really see the other hand, but every now and then I can see a tiny little flicker. And essentially, we just need to apply the same fix to that other hand that we've done. In fact, while we're here, let's just quickly check that.
While you do that, I saw JY was asking for collaborators and worrying that there's not enough, like no one wants to work with other people. I've noticed that our community is the most open people, and there have been friendships made. Like I was talking to the Pig Detective team yesterday, and I know, I'm sorry, and they've developed this whole team through Dreams, and I was just thinking that is. Yeah. It was like someone asked me a question about like what's been one of the moments. It's like, well, it's achieved one of the things we set out to do was creating teams, creating people that want to work with each other that have never met.
Yeah.
Like they have people that do music in the UK, and they're in Germany, but then someone in Australia does bits and pieces and all sorts. So Twitter's a great place to find collaborators. Our subreddit's a great place to find collaborators. The Discord, there's a collab channel set up by Subtenko. So if you are ever struggling for someone to work, you want to find someone to work with, there are amazing people just waiting to do that.
And if you just make your stuff remixable, someone will come along and maybe just start using it, and then you can reach out to the people who have used it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of collaborating. I think it's the best way. You get a lot further, and you'll come up with things you wouldn't have come up with on your own. Bella's been really good. She helps me with feedback and design on Ruckus, playing it and just giving me ideas. It's really helpful. Yeah. So sometimes an idea alone is worth 1,000 collaborations. No, I don't.
Oh yeah.
Not sure what I'm talking about.
There was a sentiment there that was beautiful.
And I really like what you were saying, because I just love going on and finding, because I don't have a huge amount of time for sculpting and things. I do enjoy it, but it's not like my main thing that I love doing. I like making stuff happen. And so I often just go on and try and find people's characters that are just a character and just a sculpt, and then try and give it some abilities.
And you did that with
Nosferatu,
didn't you?
Yeah, I'm doing it trying to do it with a few, but I keep. Yes, I'm having some published issues, but that's a separate issue. We'll talk about that, and I'll solve them, and then I'll tell you all about it.
Cool. So yes, JY, I encourage you to just reach out to the Dreams community because they are very lovely.
Absolutely.
Next up, the hatchling.
Let's look at the hatchling.
Now, I have not actually seen this creation, and it looks amazing.
It is. It's actually very cool. It's very beautiful.
Really cool.
I think it's just a still image.
Yeah.
But it's very cool, but it's been slightly broken.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Can anyone spot what's gone wrong? Yeah. And this actually is the broken base pose issue, which, as I was saying before, this could be related to the issue we were just looking at, but I'm not sure. This is generally you'll see it in these more simple in more simple circumstances like this. So this character doesn't use an animation to put it in the pose that it's meant to be in. It's just simply being posed, and we've made some code changes to solve a very specific bug where we'd made characters with different costumes or different costume layouts. And what we were finding was that when the character moved to the other side of a level and switched to the sleeves down pose, I don't know if anyone's seen the video, you'd see the sleeves travel across the level from where they started to the character, and it was all to do with power and joints and whether an object, is an object actually there. Anyway, we decided that it was probably best to fix it because obviously people were going to want to do costumes and these sort of quite advanced rig things. But the knock-on was that some joints and objects will basically get into a battle over which one of us is right? Am I supposed to be in the position the object thinks it's in, or am I supposed to be the angle that the joint is telling me to be at? Yeah. And I think what it does is it defaults to the object. Dave can run in and tell me I'm wrong in a minute. So in this example, and that's the thing, in most cases, it's just the base pose that we've broken. If you were to turn on a keyframe for that same character, the keyframe should give you exactly the right thing because the keyframe is just storing joint angle data, and we'll just go, well, no, these are the angles you need to be at. But But with the base pose, it doesn't know. It doesn't have anything to tell it, and it has to make a decision. So this one's interesting because there is no animation here. There is simply a loss of base pose. And it can be solved by just going through. It's going to look scary initially. And press triangle on every limb. What happens there is that puts you into joint edit mode, and then the joint goes, this is the angle I'm supposed to be at. This is the angle I have stored in my data.
Oh, wow.
Wrong one.
No, I just got rid of it.
Yeah, I just got rid of it. Oh, interesting. Why is that one not moved? That's...
Might be the pelvis.
Yeah. It's worked earlier. Damn you. Okay, I'm going to undo. It might be... Sometimes you have to do it in the right order with the pressing of the
like
triangle.
the way that they originally did it as well. So the legs were obviously first, but then...
Would there be any fighting if you just wanted to go and repose it?
No, I mean that was the interesting one with this, because that would have, before I figured out that it was the joint thing, I was like, oh god, I don't know how to solve this. This is really weird. And then I was like, well, luckily it is just a character. You could just repose it, but
you don't want to tell people to have to redo it. It's nice that there is a.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to lose work. That's the last thing we want to happen. Okay, what I'm going to do is reload, because I think in doing that I have made a mistake. So let's just play again. Go to edit mode. Let's try again. It's definitely worked before, so... Aha!
There it is.
Yeah, I think somewhere in there I made a mistake and I actually got rid of that data. So another thing, test your work. Don't save until you're sure that you've done the fix that you want to do. And let's just go through again. And sometimes with doing this particular fix, it's the ordering. We'll look at an example in a minute with the female default puppet where the order of doing this pressing triangle did matter again. So we'll look at that one next. They're all good. Just do the legs. I think the feet needed to be done. Okay. Oh, the head probably. Yes. Great. Now, joints are telling the objects where they need to be. If I now press circle, they should stay where they are. And then what we'll do is we'll double click X on the hips, or the pelvis, sorry, to select everything, and then we'll just lightly tap with R2. Might have moved it ever so slightly. It's quite hard to do it without moving it. That stores that pose properly, and now we basically should be all good.
There we go.
Nice.
Back to normal.
Perfect.
So yeah, it's a bit of a fiddly one, but hopefully solvable.
Well, okay. Selfish question, was that what was wrong with my mech?
Exactly, this is the mech problem. Exactly.
Oh, cool.
And yours, when you were fixing that, hopefully you saw that it was, your animations should have been all preserved. You shouldn't have had to reanimate anything. It was just the base pose. Or?
Actually, it was just one pose, so I just redid the pose. I just moved the arm. It was easy.
There you go. Yeah, it kind of depends on the severity of the problem.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? So let's quickly look at that other example.
A question quickly.
Sure.
Hammer Sat, has anyone had issues with level links spawning to the wrong level after the update? Have you seen anything about that?
No, but I can think of a reason that might occur.
Why would that be?
So there's a bit of code that says if you're in a map and you go through a level link, in a dream, which is a map, and you go through a level link and that link has been broken, it will randomly pick another doorway in the level and take you to that. So I guess, and I don't know if you've edited your dream map, but if you've updated the levels, there's a chance, if your portal has changed, there's a chance you might lose the link. And then if you didn't notice, you then go and play the level, play through to the point, go through the doorway, and it would take you to why is it taking you here? That would be my first guess, is that it's got something to do with a broken link within the dream. And then it going, okay, I've got nothing telling me where to go, I'm just going to pick a random doorway. Because that was something we had occur in Art's Dream quite a few times.
Oh, really? Playing Art's Dream on shuffle.
Essentially, accidental shuffle.
Yeah.
And that's because, and there's a general issue we've never quite managed to solve with doorways and dreams, which is if you've edited your level and you've changed the doorway gadget, then when you go to update your dream the dream sees a new doorway and it doesn't know that doorway is supposed to serve the same purpose as the original doorway, and it breaks any links that were attached to it, and you need to recreate them, which is annoying. But we've never quite managed to figure out a way to get it to go, well, I was an entrance before, I'm still an entrance, you know.
Yeah.
So that would be my first guess. If you want, we can have a look in a minute. I reckon we should just, because we were touching on this broken base pose issue, let's quickly look at those examples, and then maybe we can have a look.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's almost time for us to try a deep dive.
Deep dive.
Deep dive.
A hybrid molecule is you can't make engines. What's impossible to do? It's a question. What's impossible to do in your... I was talking to someone yesterday, and they asked the question, like, well, what can't you do? It was like, I like to do the whole, like, it's not what can't you do, it's like, how would you do it? Mm-hmm. Like, there are obviously a ton you can't, like online stuff, like multiplayer stuff, but it's really down to the creator and your skill level with the game, really, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, there are obviously limitations, but a lot of it is more like experimenting and putting together what you want to try and do, and asking for help from others if you get a little bit stuck.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Right.
Let's quickly look at this. Quickly show you.
An average guy. I nominate Tom Dent for Community Manager of the Year.
Oh.
Excellent.
I'm going QA of the year.
Yeah, QA of the year. Audio guy of the year.
No.
I kept getting introduced by Mark as a community dude, and Liam was code dude.
Code dude of the year.
Yeah, he's our code dude.
I'll take it. I mean,
it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
Let's look at the default female puppet. If we look at the image here, you can see roughly the proportions it was supposed to be at. And if we edit the level, you'll see that those proportions have been somewhat lost.
Oh, yeah.
And so the arms, quite simply, will do what we did before. If we just press triangle on the upper arms, that's enough to bring them back to what they should be. But what I found was if you just do triangle on the upper legs, the legs end up longer than they're meant to be. So what actually is required is we also need to do it on the lower leg. And that's just, basically the data in these joints was wrong. If we do it on the arm, for instance, that also actually has a subtle difference.
Sorry, Ruby.
So it really varies depending on exactly what the pose was, how it was applied, like how many of the limbs you're actually going to have to edit. Oh, look at that. Actually looks like most of these have got some. The hands, not the torso. It seems to be just the arms and legs. But yeah, just to try and show you that you might need to do more than just the upper arm, or you might think, oh, it's fixed, but just check by pressing triangle and everything, basically. And once it's all done, press circle.
What's the order of what triangle does? So I think I know this, but first of it will try and reset the position, then it will put it into joint edit mode, or is it L1 and triangle to do that? Sorry.
No, so it's just triangle.
Yeah.
There's 3 things that I believe triangle can do, which is, one, it's unliven.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and this is one where we've got a bit of a UI, we've never quite solved the UI for it. We need ever-evolving dreams, as it will be, we'll solve this in the future. So if you've got a live clone, pressing triangle will, I probably already did it on that one. Let's find something that's probably still live cloned. Pressing triangle once, then again, no, it didn't do it. Okay, let's just make it. We make a sculpt.
When in doubt.
When in doubt,
just
and we need to use the live clone tool. So which is to use clone with live clone turned on. So pressing triangle once, oh my god, it just deleted it. Maybe you need to be on the clone tool to unliven. Yes, it is. I apologise. If you're in the clone tool, I know, right? It's like I've never tested this before.
There goes your QA dude of the year.
Dang it! That's so close. If you're in the live clone tool and you press triangle over an object, it unlivens it. You don't really get any UI to tell you that that's happened, sadly, apart from in the prompts, it went from stop live clone to delete, which is the other thing that triangle does. So if you're in a puppet where generally the limbs are live clones, you've got triangle to unliven them, you've also got triangle to put them into joint edit mode.
That's it, yeah.
And then you've also got triangle to delete them.
Yeah.
You'll only hear the delete sound when it deletes, though, so other ones, we'll know that you're not doing a delete action, and obviously it won't have deleted itself, so...
Yeah.
There will be signs.
Yes.
So I don't know if you noticed just then, I just rewound and it all went back to normal. That's because I didn't actually, after getting everything back how we wanted it, I didn't do the final step. So let's just do that, which is to press circle, then double tap on the pelvis and just give it a click. It should store all those, it basically will store that new position data and orientation data. The joint, there's no longer dodgy data, we're all solved, is the idea.
Another one. Good job.
Kev, we have a question that maybe we can stay in this creation pool. I have a really basic question, but I've seen on streams people select a thing and then clone it, and it lines up a bunch. It lines a bunch up, and you can place them all at once. Oh, how did you do that on DualShock?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's like live clone, right?
Yes, it's live clone repeat, I believe we call it. And the way you do that is you get your object, can be anything. It's not actually a live clone thing, sorry, it's just a clone thing.
Yes.
You can do it with live clone if you want. So, shift and right trigger, yes, so I've got to remember the buttons, is clone. Now, if you keep those buttons held and press, no, wait, you need to let go of, it's a bit of a finger dance, you have to let go of L1 while still holding the object, and then pressing the D-pad left will repeat between your original and your clone. And then you can press right to reduce the number until you go back to normal, and then if you keep going, it starts to push them beyond, so you're repeating beyond. And depending on exactly what you're doing, that could be useful. And that works in Sculpt as well, remember, and that can be really useful for, if you're a sculptor in DS4, this is a really useful tool, because with moves they get all this depth control, it's really amazing, they can do all these cool things which are a bit harder to do, but by using this in sculpt mode, you can create some quite fun shapes.
Oh, cool.
Which are maybe a little bit hard to do. That wasn't actually a very good example, but
again,
basically it works in both. Yeah. And sometimes, if you're on DS4, you might find it very useful in sculpt mode.
Nice.
Did that answer the question?
I think so. Yeah, but basically asking how that's done.
Nice.
I find it's one of those like muscle memory things. Like it looks, but then you end up just like.
It's definitely a dance of the fingers. So we'll just go through it one more time for the sake of it. So L1, then R2 to grab, release L1, and while still holding with R2, use the D-pad left and right to choose what type of repeat you want.
Yeah.
Repeat beyond or repeat between.
Perfect. Boom. Cool. Right. Let's talk about some more bad. So we still have this one, I believe. Did you want to?
Oh yeah, we didn't do that one. That's a really interesting one. I've not figured out what code actually broke this one yet, but and it's in a level called Japan.
By Don't Get Fresh.
Don't get fresh with. Oh, where's the symbol?
It's down there.
Thank you.
There you go. And then P.
These clever ASCII names.
Yeah.
Oh. Dash liquid. Snake. No.
Yeah. There it is.
There it is.
Boom.
Okay, so this is an interesting one. Let's see. It might have changed. So since a couple of them, when I was working through backwards compatibility, occasionally I'd find one. I'd write. I think Faux Filet did this. I wrote a whole thing about what was wrong, and then they went and changed the design, and it wasn't broken. Which is good because it meant that I didn't have to deal with it. But it was quite funny. I think it was the 2D stuff. There was some 2D problems because of the way they'd originally done it was using collision, but then they'd switched to another method, and then it was no longer a problem.
Right.
Okay, so if we play this, I believe we get a song, and the camera's meant to be rotating around the tree.
Oh yeah, and now it's by.
But now the camera's
rotating.
By tree. And what I found was that somehow, I don't quite know how this has happened, or what code has caused this to happen, but the rotator, which is, it's all the way over there. Let's quickly bring up the tweak for the camera. The rotator has been plugged directly into the camera. I don't think it was in early access. I think something in our code, I don't quite know how. And I didn't find any other examples of this. This is the only one that we found that did this. Where's the rotator? That's the problem now. I've got to find the rotator. Oh, I might use my clever.
Use your thing.
My rotato finder.
I didn't actually know you could plug a rotator or any mover into a camera.
Yeah, you can actually plug a lot of things directly into gadgets. You might not think. So one of the common ones that even actually I didn't know until Big Guns told me was that you can plug a destroyer directly into a circuit to destroy it. So if you've made yourself a level with like some clever intro logic that once gameplay has started you don't need,
Destroy it.
destroy it. Save yourself some performance, which is a really clever trick that some people use.
That's slick.
Yeah. We were doing that. I mean, individual voice lines in our stream. We like just get them out of the way. We don't need them. They're taking up memory. So just boom.
So you can actually just use the tools on the tool, mate.
Yeah.
That's it. That's clever. I mean, while you search, let me have a look. You guys should do a stream where people send in their dreams broken or they aren't happy with them, and you should fix them and make them better. If you've got like a fix, that would be like 60-minute makeover style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imp my dream.
Although you have to be totally cool with us doing whatever the heck we want with it.
Yeah, so we like,
We'll just take
you need
it.
to give us creative freedom.
Yeah.
I think for this one the fix might have been just literally to delete the wire. Let's just quickly see what that gives us.
Oh, that's
Now it's just not rotating.
Can see
at all.
tree, fine, fixed.
Yeah, sorted.
Yeah. I think what I need to do is move that wire to the group rather than the camera. So let's just check the scope we're in. Go in, and then if we... Oops.
I mean, you could just rotate the tree. That's what I'd do.
Move the tree.
If you stamp the Arch Streams assets, they are so thermo-friendly. Can't believe how well optimized they are. Well,
That's just the ones we gave you.
one of the things.
Yeah, painstaking. There's a lot of testing that goes into just every asset. Just checking that it follows the certain rules, that it's optimum, and
So that we don't explode your levels when you put them in.
This is nice. It's a bit embarrassing. I can't remember where to put the wire.
It's okay.
It's something to do with this wire, and it needs to go, I think, into the...
Is the camera in a group?
Yeah, the camera's in a group. I think the whole group is what we want to move.
Tapjail says it used to be that if you plugged a rotator into a gadget, it would rotate around the origin point. I guess now it doesn't.
Yeah, that could.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it was always wired, and then we fixed some bit of code that now means it actually does something.
Does it have a handle where the origin, where it is? So like some
it's bang
gadgets
on,
have got like
actually.
a...
Some gadgets do. Some the camera doesn't show it.
I mean the rotator, sorry. So it actually shows where the source of the rotation is.
What I might do is, I think, if we just delete the wire, say goodnight. And then I'm just going to plug it into the highest level of the group and just see if that does what we want. So I'm just going to take that and plug it in there, and then we're going to switch to play, and everything's going to be great. Oh, it worked. Amazing. So that was... Wait.
The tree is rotating.
The tree's rotating now. Okay. Damn it.
You got this, man.
We're so close. We're so close. We'll
Just take the tree out of the group.
another hour or so, and we'll have this one done. Interesting.
Pouch Pro says, I did something similar, and what I did was the camera was in sculpture that was turning around. That's it. Oh, it was in... Sorry, I see.
Yeah, I need to connect it to... Might have to come back to this one on the document and give you a proper fix. I'll tell you where to plug this wire.
It's better. It's definitely better.
Yeah, like, it's not over. The tree is in shot.
Everyone in the stream says it's better.
Yeah. The tree is in shot, and that's really what we wanted from it.
That's the really
Yeah.
important thing, is that you can still see the tree, absolutely. Yes. But that's an interesting one. I think it probably is what you were saying, or someone pointed out a minute ago, that we may have fixed an issue where previously it wouldn't rotate at all, or would rotate in the wrong place. Now it's rotating in the right place.
Forgot to comply to a request from Mr. Casey Jones. He says, please don't read this comment on the stream. Thanks.
Oh no.
What was the comment?
Damn it!
Can't read it.
He's tricked you again.
So, he's got me. Goodness me.
So easy.
Right, let's have a look. Hi, Sebastian. Matthew Midnight says, okay, medium molecule of the new imps, which is your favourite? We need to know.
Mine's the frog.
The frog is so good. I didn't see the frog until it came up on my screen. I was like, oh my goodness. I love the Impy imps.
DPMs.
Oh, yeah,
The Winnie
they're
and
really
Nommy.
good. Yeah, they're really good.
Cute names.
I don't like them only because I can't have them.
You can't have them, yeah.
I like all the imps, actually. Just there's so many great designs.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, I love people discovering them and all sorts. So you've gone through your...
I've gone through my easy picks, and then what we can do, I don't know if anyone's got one we can try and do live.
Yeah, if you've found any issues in
not-
your creations, then let us know in chat. Did you want to? You mentioned a lot of like procedural animation stuff has changed. Did we want to just upload load up
let's
a
quickly
Puppet
talk about that.
and-
Yeah. So I can't. The puppet that was raised is I've forgotten her name. Is a zombie character from someone that is a private creation. So unfortunately, I can't look at private stuff here on this server. So
Can we
I won't
just
be able
look
to
at,
show
like,
it
the-
to you.
but
Let's
the
just look
basic-
at the puppet and just look at
Yeah.
how sassiness has
A
changed.
nice little.
Let's start new.
Yeah, back and then down.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
So I got you.
You got my back. It's like I've never played this before.
Sorry, man.
Cool. Let's get ourselves a puppet.
No, Seb. We can't look at private stuff. We can only look at stuff that's published.
We can technically, but we need a server guru to do clever jiggery pokery, which we generally want to avoid, and we certainly don't want to do on a live stream.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Is the voiceover actress in Dreams the same lady that did the voiceover for Tearaway?
No.
No.
It's Sophie Okonodu.
Sophie. Ah, yes. Oh, yeah, the Dream. Yes.
She's wonderful.
She has a great voice.
Yes.
Very soothing.
The Dream Queen.
How has the emitter changed?
How has the emitter changed?
Has the emitter changed? I imagine.
I think there might well be some bug fixes to the emitter, but I don't think
I need
there's
to put us in the
any
corner.
major changes. There is. I've highlighted a thing to do with a frame of delay, but it wasn't really a change from early access to the full release. It's just something we felt that was not very clear and was worth highlighting, which is that when you emit something, because it has to take a clone from the reference object, it needs a frame of delay basically between taking that clone and emitting it to actually just make sure all the logic is in the correct state and things like that. And so some things will not work quite as you might expect if they're expected to trigger on the very first frame of the emission. But there's an example in the document that hopefully makes that clear and shows how to solve it.
Yeah. Perfect.
I think there might be some optimizations to the emitters as well, but they shouldn't directly affect the functionality.
Dreams won't let me edit my creations or make anything new until I complete the imp quest in new element or scene, but I can't find this anywhere.
I think if you just go and create a new scene, I think that the Dreamiverse sort of highlights where you need to go. It should be like a ring around the element. And once you do that, it'll just take you through a few steps. It's designed for new players to sort of get them going, but it takes under a minute to do that one.
Right.
If you just follow the steps. Yeah, sorry, you do have to do those.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, it's because there's going to be so many new players to Dreams. That's why they're there, because we couldn't have one or the other.
Yep.
Because you basically have a new game with the same profile. I think that was the same case in early access, beta and early access. I think you ended up doing its tutorials.
A lot of the game states, I believe, are saved based on having completed certain tutorials, and it's just written that way. So we don't want to be giving you all of the helpful Dream Queen dialogue again once you've heard it once, but you do need to have heard it just to have that checkbox.
Yeah.
So quickly to talk about the sassiness here. So the main sorry,
There's only a thing we say here.
Gotta talk about sassiness for a second.
Important.
So the main reason we changed it was to try and get this, what I'm trying to show here, which is that by increasing the sassiness during our run, we get a lot more shoulder movement. So it really feels like the character's sort of pumping their arms, and it's their whole body.
Yeah.
Their whole body is being used. Now that wouldn't happen with the original sass because it was pretty much all in the hips. But I fully appreciate that we've actually lost something in doing that. Now that someone has pointed it out to me with a very specific character, and that's the problem. We're trying to balance our changes for a tool that can make any character. It's very hard to always sport very specific ones. But this is all. There's room for changing and improving on all of this, and I think there's a very good example that was given to us of why we can expand this further and maybe add some more sliders. To either help isolate certain body parts. So another example, for instance, might be with arm vigor. Those of you who've tried to make melee combat or anything like that, sort of arm vigor can be a bit of a funny one because you generally want to turn it off when you're holding a sword. Oh no, two-handed weapon is the best example because obviously if the character's got arm vigor, they start going like this with their sword. with their staff, so you need to turn it off to keep the hands locked in the two places that you want the staff to be. But with what was the example? Say we're making a melee character with a sword, and you might want to do a sort of really sort of stylized run where they hold the sword out behind them as they run. Now you might want one arm to keep pumping, and the other arm not to. And at the moment, because we just have one slider for both arms, there's no isolation, there's no way, so I want just the right arm to do this, not the left. And so I think I've often felt when I've been working on characters that this is one of the areas where we can try and expand in the future, add more sliders and maybe try and support specific body types. Like, so a classic problem we have with doing Art Stream is you've got Art and most of the mystery characters, really tall, quite lanky characters, and then you've got to have procedural animation that works really well for them, walking upstairs and all that, and then you've got Debug, who essentially has like sticks, tiny little nubbins for legs, and also needs to look good. And then Foxy and Francis are sort of somewhere in between, and it's like trying to get it working for all these, and it's just very hard. And initially, for those of you on early access who really went into doing characters, you probably noticed that runs were not good. You know, they weren't the best. It was very hard to get a really satisfying one. So I feel like while we have lost some of that sort of feminine sass for some of those characters, I think the trade-off of actually having decent runs across the board was worth it.
We should get one of the animation team in to do maybe a stream on how you can add custom animation cycles on top of the procedural stuff.
Yeah,
that's probably how you take that maybe in the future. If you've got something really specific, like the one-handed thing, that would be possible with like a little looping animation, which actually complements the procedural stuff really nicely.
Yeah, there's Dave's often talked about, Dave who does a lot of this stuff has often talked about sort of exposing a signal which would sort of you'd be able to use to describe where is this character within the procedural run cycle. Is it currently at left foot forward, right foot back? And some sort of way of describing that you could then use to sort of maybe control the playhead of another animation that you're putting. So my example was always like you're doing an old man with a walking stick. And that's actually kind of fiddly to do at the moment because you've got this kind of very bespoke stepping thing, which you've got to somehow marry up with the procedural, which is very hard to do. So if we can find a way to expose that, it would, I think, help do those sort of like layered animations.
It's anything where you need to read ahead.
Exactly, or you need to like, because it's all of, if you've studied animation and walks like it's all about like, well, it's hard for me to describe. I need an animator here who knows all the technical stuff.
There's a lot of.
I did actually study animation. I can't remember anything.
There's a load you asked some kind of. We are actually hoping to get Dave and Mike, I think, for a stream in the near future. So,
I'd like to do one with Jamie because I was talking with Jamie, J+B, and he doesn't use puppets that much. And I think there's a lot of people who maybe
purely
find the puppets a bit scary because they are like the perfect storm of every aspect of the editor in one place. And, you know, so they are scary to use, but there are just a few tricks to learn, and suddenly I think it's one of those, like, suddenly you realise there isn't actually that much magic to it. It's actually fairly simple. For instance, building them, I think some people maybe are a little bit afraid of just, like, pulling an arm off and adding a new arm. It's not actually very hard to do, and by doing it, you sort of learn a bit about how the puppet works.
Are we going to get Bionic Man Puppet?
Bionic Man Puppet.
That's what's happening now. We go Bionic.
Maybe a question for after you've done Bionic Man Puppet. Could you talk about the change for not having an FOV slider in the camera? It disappears when it's scoped in or something. What's the best way of adjusting that while scoped in so you can see the change live just to get it right?
Oh, I think we changed. I think maybe we just changed the button. I'll quickly do this. I'll quickly just show you.
You're going to do
the very simple version of how a puppet is constructed, because it's all just constructed with joints. So we just have to add put our new arm on, sculpted, or by. I really love just collaging puppets from the Dreamverse. Just find bits from different characters or different things. I made a character that was completely made out of plant pots the other day.
As you do.
Because why not? It's using these different features, and actually once you sort of know this stuff, it's just not as scary, and I think you'll feel more liberated to try more advanced things. Yeah, so we just make our new arm, we rejoint it, we retarget it, and if we go back to the procedural, it should just start working.
Yeah.
Yes, Bionic Man.
Nice, got a new arm, and it's
That's amazing.
That's so good.
it seems so hard, I think, but it's not. It's actually really easy.
When you actually think
and you
about
can
it,
adjust the joints. And in that stream, I'd really like to do that stream sometime. I think it'd be quite fun to do it with Jamie. He's obviously a really talented designer, and it'd be really fun to sort of like, hopefully he'll help us unlock how easy it is by me showing him.
That would be a great, we've always talked about doing the exquisite corpse, which is literally draw a head, someone else draws the body, someone else draws the arm. Yeah. We could literally do that with a puppet where we just sculpt random bits and don't look at each other's bits until we put them together.
Yeah, send one more out and then,
Exactly, and that's this horrific monster. Or beautiful puppet creation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was
apparently Tanner Calloway is working on full body motion capture by strapping DualShock 4s to his body.
Yeah.
The question was about the camera and the field of view slider.
Yes.
Has it changed?
I don't think the field of so if you're editing cameras. So one thing you can do, which some people might have noticed, if you tweak it before you enter, then you will have access to the tweak menu while you're in there. And what was it? It was field of view.
I think it was actually the...
maybe this is what they're talking about. Where is that field of view slider?
Oh, yeah, it's there.
OMG. So
what was that?
It won't work. But if you look, it tells you narrow field of view, widen field of view on the D-pad, up and down. So is that what you were asking for?
Is that what you're asking,
Maybe
Tap?
you didn't notice, or maybe...
Wait, we're a little bit delayed on the chat, so we have to... We ask and then we kind of just wait.
So there, I'm just using D-pad, basically, to adjust it.
Oh, hi, Dorian.
I only just realised that there's a little widget for the depth.
Yeah.
That's so useful. I was trying to do that manually, and it's really tricky.
Yeah, it's really... Yeah, I found, especially if you're doing it in a big space, it can be really fiddly. And it's just something as well, because it's a depth-based thing.
Yeah.
You can't judge it from here. I'm like, how deep do we need
I was just trying to
this
see
distance to be?
If my thing was in focus or not. And it's like, no, just look at the little thing that tells you the depth of the focal depth.
Yeah, I think...
Was that what we were after?
We're still waiting, unfortunately.
God dang.
Flipping internet. That makes sense because it would move when you adjust the field of view, and it would just automatically move to the extreme.
Yes, I think that's why we did it. I think
you're
right. I think there were problems.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Some people use that slider and don't know what the move shortcut is. Could you shout out? Could you shout that out on the stream,
moves
please?
do not have a D-pad, so it might not be possible. This might be one of those times where
something is different.
where there is no button. So
uncovered.
Those of you who have DS4 and moves will know that there's some things that one can do and the other can't, and it is purely the fact that the DS4 has more buttons, but the DS4 can't deal with some of the depth stuff that the moves can do. It doesn't have the gestures, so I have a feeling this is one where there is no move equivalent. If we've got any moves,
we have
try. Should we try? Let's try.
And actually, because I think John has mentioned before, he uses moves a lot for his designs, but then uses DualShock 4 for like logic and bits and pieces like that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Swaps between the two. Legasp. You should.
I'm just going to press every button and see what happens. But I have a feeling this is one where, I'm not seeing any obvious. Am I still in the camera? I am. Let's just go back in just in case.
Try it with the gestures.
Don't laugh. You know what I'm doing.
Look at him go. Look at that sass.
No, I don't think that one is on the moves. I'm sorry to say.
It was fun to watch you try.
Yeah.
Gaz says, right, that's it.
That is QA.
Yeah. Gaz says, right, that's it. No move field of view functionality. I want a refund.
Dreams cancelled.
That's it. Sorry, bye. Thanks for playing. And then someone says, man, I need you to try that move on head gesture.
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't been using the type
move,
of things.
the move to face.
Goodness me. Right, let's have it. If there's anything else that we can help out with on the stream, let us know.
Let us know. I guess what we could do is we could just dive into some of the ones that were already in the document and just to keep going and just sort of showing people how we sell.
I actually think Razorback Zvi had a question. Let me just jump on our laptop right here, and I'm going to have to look at you, Kev.
It's me.
He was saying that. Oh look, there's actually not that bad of a delay. Bear with me while I live scroll.
Live scroll.
I've been switching in and out of the camera, like to have us big and small, and Mr. Tofu keeps revoking my community dude of the year because I keep forgetting.
Yeah. Rightly so.
Yeah, rightfully so. My puppets walk funny, and I looked shortly into it. I could get a similar result by changing the sliders from the animation cycle. Is this the right way, or could it be another issue? And that's what we were talking about just a minute ago, I believe.
I think that has, that's one we could quickly look at.
Yeah.
So
Mimeo.
can I remember the name of the level?
Mimeo Prophecy?
Is it in Mimeo?
That's the question that they were asking.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, Razorback, we're going to
Let's have a
quick look
at Mimeo and see if we can see.
Game Majimbo says, "Hi, me and Michael. Great job on the Dreams game. It's absolutely astonishing game. I love everything about it." Thank you.
Mimeo also has some other text issues, and because I don't know how far you've gotten with solving those, because we're on our server copy was a little while ago. It probably doesn't have those fixes, so we'll see some of those. Mimeo was was a big part of the test cases that we had for the text issues.
Because it does so
you
much.
have made exceptionally good use of it, and far-reaching. You've used it a lot in lots of different ways. Yes.
Yeah.
So I apologise for the fact that we did break a few of those. Hopefully you are finding it easy enough to fix them. Skip the cutscene. So is it in the walk cycle we're looking
Yeah, it's saying they walk funny.
Okay.
And yeah.
Well, that's why he can't get out of bed.
Yeah, he's obviously can't walk. And Seb says it's fine for us to look, and he'll use our tips to solve them tomorrow.
So here, we had a black bar text issue. We couldn't see the controls were under the black bars, so they will need to be set to always on top. And if you look up in the right-hand corner, we've got our UI, which is heavily layered, but yes, use of the always on top and sort order should solve those. Do let me know if you have any ones that don't work, and I will help you work through them.
Yeah. Which character was it that walks funny?
Well,
I think it's this one. I think it's mainly
yeah.
this. And this immediately, so in the document, there should be a section that talks about how what we've done is, because we were getting some quite weird walk cycles from different people, it was because, depending on where you'd put the... I can't remember why we fixed it, but essentially the balls of the feet now always, while you're moving, always try to be in the centre of the puppet base. And so if you see sort of weird kicking out like that, chances are when we go to edit mode, what we'll see is that the puppet is actually aligned not in the centre of that base. And so the feet are trying to get to the centre.
Seb describes it as, so if you walk around a bit, his legs are out of control.
Out of control legs. It's a ministry of funny walks, really. Is the way I see it. It's very sort of John Cleese. So it's not much, but there is a slight difference there.
The pelvis is slightly behind.
And it might be that in the animation as well.
Yeah.
Let's quickly, if we just tweak and just run the preview, let's just see, because there could be some animation.
There's definitely a bit of like, oh, I'm seeing inside. Like, it's like a bit, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oops, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, that always happens. I have to start again.
To reset.
Dang it. I always hit rewind as sort of
that's
like muscle
three
memory.
things in this entire stream.
That's why it takes me so long to do backwards compatibility. I'm just constantly making mistakes.
You move. He says there's a bit of a sway.
What was weird was the...
it's like the...
Let's just try a live change here. We need to find the pelvis object, which interestingly is quite well hidden here. I'm guessing it's... So what have we got? We've got a...
Great character design, by the way, Seb. I love your character designs. Oh, hello.
It's all right, I'm just going to uncover so I can find... There's our pelvis, which is actually quite hidden. This is an interesting one. I always sort of give my characters sort of like slightly exaggerated bottoms, just so that I have something to grab when I need to animate the pelvis. You can delete the bottom later, but when you're animating, it's can
part of the process.
Fiddly, not being able to actually get to. So what we're going to do is let's use the hide tool. This is exactly what the hide tool is for. When you need to get to something, and you can't.
Boom.
Boom, hide tool.
Oh, it's great. You've designed the pelvis so it's still got part of the hoodie. Oh, that's...
Yeah, really,
works,
it's a really good character.
Yeah.
And for this as well, let's also... I was going to use the precise move, but because I've moved the character, actually, I'm not, because I don't know that the precise move is going to be in exactly the right axis for the character. But let's just grab that pelvis and bring it forward.
Like having like a hospital procedure, like muscle work.
Hearing like sort of bone cracking.
Yeah.
It can be quite helpful when you're doing this change to just have a look on the physics page and have a look at the capsule, because obviously, so the capsule is always central to the pedestal or base, and you generally want to keep your character as much as possible within that. Now, That's not always possible. For instance, if you're doing a swimming animation, you're obviously going to be lying flat on your belly, and you're not going to be able to fit inside the capsule like that. So it kind of depends what you're working with. But when it comes to just setting up your basic animations, try and keep the pelvis and the body central to the pedestal. So now we've moved those. That's pretty good, I think.
Falcarich called it right. A chiropractor. That is exactly the word I was looking at.
Crack your bones.
Oh, imagine if we had like bone cracking sounds if you were moving the puppet. That would be dark, wouldn't it?
We can make that happen.
Yeah.
That's still a bit better. That's a bit better, but I don't know if it's fixed.
The legs are still a bit
they kick out quite a lot.
Yeah, but there's definitely less.
Yeah.
It's more in control.
It's interesting, when I did actually look at the preview, I noted that nothing happened.
Yeah, Seb says that's definitely better.
It's not previewing the walk. Oh, maybe I need to click it again. There we go.
Dush, 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 dush.
So let's just quickly check some of these settings.
Then.
So, yes, so earlier on, before I saw the position over pedestal potential part of this problem, what I wanted to quickly talk about was a new slider, which you'll find described in the document, which is the min stride time.
This is amazing. I love this.
I was talking to someone else trying to help them solve a bug earlier, and they were saying that just sort of generally their walk and run cycles looked really weird, and it'll probably be because of this. Now, depending on the size of your character, sort of more the height will define what you want to set the min stride time to. So for a sort of average height person, it's usually about 3 to 3.5.
Oh yeah, you can see that.
And that just is basically how quickly it will go through the cycle, I think. Not sure if that's helping or not.
It definitely looks a bit more.
Oh,
I think there's less kicking out. I guess you can't see because you
turned on the UI.
Because you're at a different camera angle, like from the game. So I guess you need to.
Yeah, that's a bit better.
That looks more. Yeah, he says, "Ooh, okay, that's better."
I'm going to bring down the stridiness as well, actually, because I think the stridiness itself is maybe a bit too far out.
Nobody's going to break my stride. Nobody's going to slow me down.
Keep those quotes coming, please. That's...
I tweet when we started. I tweeted and I said, "Come for the tips, stay for the puns."
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So I think a combination of positioning your character and just playing with those stridiness and stride times should help improve.
Yeah. I mean, that looks a lot.
And as again, chatting with Razorback.
Yep.
So previously they alluded to something that I hadn't done in the document, but I have updated, which is this character is actually a module, so you can go and should be able to go and apply those changes in your module and then update it across your scenes rather than doing it in every single scene.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so you could go into a
depending on how you've built your level, your levels will mean you can or cannot do that. Yeah. Have a go.
Seb says, Razorback says, "Thanks so much. I will play with those sliders."
Woohoo!
Woo!
Nice, excellent.
Amazing. Yeah, because Mimeo is such a huge game.
It's
I guess
a huge game.
A lot because there's a lot of characters that are probably using similar bits and pieces.
Lots of characters, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's certain games which really do so Pig Detective obviously has a huge range of characters, makes extensive use of the text gadget as well. So that was another one where it's like, well, there's a lot here. But it was actually very interesting with that one that I think the original Pig Detective and the Cowboy Town generally okay. It was the Halloween one that was the worst affected by the text gadget, and that's just because that one makes a lot more use of the black bars than the others did. I'm not sure why in the design that happened. Maybe because it's got a lot more interiors, I'm not sure. But it's just interesting that black bars are particularly problematic with that text change, but hopefully very easy to spot and very easy to fix.
Might have something to tell you after stream, Ed.
Tease.
That tease. Let me have a look. Let's have a look. Quick questions. Good Barry says, no question, but this is by far the most beautiful and artistically brilliant game to ever come out. Media Molecule did such an amazing job with this game, and it brings a similar smile to my face, like back when I played the LBP series.
So kind.
Kanaka Loy asks, what has 4 legs, 3 legs, 2 legs, and 1 leg?
Puppet.
A 4-lap, 3-legged race with 2-legged men who has a leg up on the competition.
You need to work on those jokes, man.
Sir. No.
No.
Right, let's have... If you've got any... I can't tell you, it's a top secret Pig Detective thing.
What?
I know.
I am Pig Detective.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Custom image behind... How did you guys create the custom image behind the genealogy? Oh, the... They're doodles, aren't they? On the doodles.
Kev, give us some doodles.
Doodles.
In a dream or a collection.
Say we're making our dream, and we've put in our not that.
This one. What dreams means to me, or tropical
Let's put
garden.
in
Introducing Harry Carey.
So maybe we're making a game with Harry Carey. We can doodle on it. Tools. I need the moves, really. This is one of those things which is generally better. Scribbles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scrib.
Script.
Oh,
yeah, we call them doodles, don't we?
Drawing
I guess.
a carrot with a DS4.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. I mean, anyone who's been down allotment knows that carrots grow in all sorts of shapes and sizes. So.
Welcome to the nature stream.
Nature.
You can make them thicker. L1 and L2.
Need the little
make
green.
them thicker?
The scribbles. Yeah.
L1, R2.
When I asked Kareem, because if you go to the Impy Nominees collection in Dreams, there's a load of doodles on there. But Kareem did them, and we obviously did those in January, and by then the game was everything was ready. But there's been all the changes.
Yep.
So Kareem was using the scribble tool from early access and was like with all sorts of changes. And I changed the sofa back with the right size. Can we get the fast one from? Everyone loves the music from Art Stream. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well done, music team.
Cheers.
So
It's a really big team of people working on the soundtrack. And
I'm not an
audio
artist.
design. That's awesome.
That's a better carrot than I could ever do.
You can draw carrots.
So I mean that
Is that
trumps
what-
anything in the Art Stream map, really.
Don't
amazing
Kareem
work.
You say that, but
Amazing work. But that is how they're done, isn't it?
that's how
they're done.
that's it.
Like,
Collections and Dreams both have access to that feature for you to scribble on and just make notations. Yeah, some people make use of it just to literally write something above the level, but other people will use it to decorate.
I've seen some people were like making collections of their stuff that they've made over early access and having like a welcome to my page sort of collection.
Yeah,
Which is nice. It's like, well, I'm here. This is my stuff. Come and look at this. It's really nicely laid out and presented.
it's great. Let's have a look. General fact, the music's in Dreams for now. Like, I don't know if there's any sort of plans. Can you customize it? No.
I'm trying to see if I actually have the document up to look at some of the old examples.
Yeah, like I think we can just go douche, because I've
super.
linked it. There you are.
Just if we're not going to dive into anything, I might as well just keep looking at some of the other ones. So what
Tom, are you in Art Stream? No, I'm not in Art Stream. None of us are in Art Stream. So, I saw a conversation around Discord last night that our art sounds like Mark.
Yes.
I didn't know that, and then I heard it, and I was like, "Oh yes."
Well, he's the creative director. I mean, it's sort of he sort of wrote the story essentially.
Oh no, people think that Mark voices art.
Voices him. Well,
Yeah.
yes, but no.
No. Yes, but no.
Okay, let's have a quick look at, because I think this one will probably is one of those ones that's a bit fiddly and there's lots of different use cases for it. So let's have a quick look at depossession not working as expected because of use of force possess, because we've changed the way that works. And originally you could have force possess turned on but still do depossess something, and now we've made it much more explicit that no, once you're in possession of force possession you cannot come out. And that had some knock-ons to different levels. Great job human being one of them, and tic-tac-toe being another. But I've seen on Twitter and I've had some communication with other people who have had this, but luckily have solved it. So hopefully the document is enough, but we should, I reckon, quickly go through it anyway.
I believe David from Sony Bend is in our comments.
Cool.
And asks who worked on the trophy list for Dreams. All sorts of people. No, the icons were made by our graphic designer and Martin. Miguel and Martin. Miguel has a name. He's not just called our graphic designer. But we all had a hand in sort of working out what they'd be. I got very excited because I was like, "Oh, look what the Dreams look like! This trophy list."
Dreamverse team had an extensive part to play in that with all the imp quests and unlocks, and obviously QA did a hell of a lot of testing to make sure they'll work. In fact, everyone in the end, just towards the end, was sort of roped in to make sure that we could actually unlock the trophies.
Yeah.
Nowadays, trophies are so important, and we know how important they are to people. So a lot of testing goes in to try to make sure that they are stable. And it's always like, can you get platinum?
Yeah.
Can you get platinum?
Can you get
Just
it?
before we released, there was like, if you're not doing anything, just unlock trophies. And I think Liam and Dave were having a competition of who can get like, I think it was 8 trophies. And they just like got through them in insane amounts of time, speed running in, figured out exactly which ones are the easiest to do. And there's a board where we all had like our names and trophies, and like Liam was
Yes.
just bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, I came in and saw it. I was like, oh my goodness.
Gaming it.
Right, I think this will actually probably maybe be our. There's no big couch. Look, we're small. We're small. Maybe this will be our last one that we do.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
But
keep
people
them
have
coming
asked
in.
for more Kev.
Yeah,
People have asked for
Kev.
more of you, so we'll give you more Kev.
Yeah, we'll do some puppet stuff, I think, because I really want to show
Yeah.
more of the puppet and what it can do, and hopefully just level up some of the new people so they feel a bit more confident at just getting some gameplay going,
Yeah.
or giving their characters special moves and things like that. Because it's not as hard as you think, but it's you know.
I'm always in awe of the characters that you make, and like particularly the combat examples.
Oh,
that you
yeah.
do.
Yeah, it's really fun. That's definitely something we should look at, because it gets quite complicated once you're trying to make puppets interact with puppets in those kinds of ways. And I'm really impressed with actually those of you who have dived into it, for how far you've gotten without tutorials on this, because I'm also very aware that because the puppet is this nightmare's the wrong word, perfect dream of all these different features, it's quite hard to tutorialize, and some of it can feel very dry or very slow. So, and I think really streams are probably the best way to do it.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
actually where it's a bit more of an open forum, and
Because there's no like single one right way of doing it. Like the way you might want to set up a sort of Dark Souls character is very different to the next person. So.
Yeah.
different games, different mechanics, like dodges. Do you want to have dodge? And there's lots of game design issues as well. Like, you notice most games that have like proper combat don't have a jump because they'll have a dodge instead, or like maybe you can only jump when you're not in combat.
Yeah.
All these different things that you need to solve once you start getting into those sort of deeper mechanics.
Goodberry, what are the chances this is completely different. Like this, if you are interested in working at Media Market, if you go to our website and go to the jobs page, you'll see all our current vacancies. But you'll also see on the top of the page a page for work placements and graduate stuff. So if you go there, you can find all the information that you're looking for.
Nice.
Anyway,
Cool. Let's quickly do this example.
yes.
So in the very intro, I mean, this one was a really good example that I had because it generates a blocker. You can't actually progress in this level. I'm very sorry, the Burger Van. But I believe you have solved this because we were in communication with you yesterday because you had another problem with resolving it, but I believe you have solved it now. But we're on old server data, so I still have the bug to show you. So I can press 1 to release it, but nothing happens, and so I cannot progress with this level. And the reason that is because at the time, quite rightly, the user had used force possession on this control sensor, but because it's never turned off, you can't actually depossess. Now let's see if I can remember what the fix is. Did a keyframe with use keep. Okay, so let's turn that off. I forget where the keyframe is to go. So now that keyframe is off, well, now that it's off, we're just not docked to the thing anymore. So it is meant to be there, but I guess what we probably want to do is just have it so it pulses at the beginning of the level. I'll try and do this without watching my own video of how I fixed it. So what we could try and do, let's try this. Let's just try timer, just a second, and we're just going to send a pulse at the very beginning of the level to force possession. So it's not going to turn on permanently, it's just going to pulse and hopefully put us into the hand, but still give us the ability to depossess when we need to. So if we play and rewind, hopefully this will work. I'm not sure if this is exactly the fix, but like Ed was saying a minute ago, there's so many different ways of achieving things that, you know, just because I do it this way doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way. So R1.
Yay.
Yes. Okay.
Yay!
So now, because force possession isn't on all the time, when I give it the command to depossess, it does actually depossess, and then I can.
So there's a tip there as well, because a lot of people have been asking about how you would get rid of that sound, the imp-zip sound.
When the possession
Possession.
effect.
So because you had pulsed that on, you are turning force possession on, and you will hear the sound, because anytime the imp possesses a puppet, you hear the sound. That's always going to happen. But if you start the level with the puppet already force possessed, you won't. The game has started. You don't need to see or hear the imp. So in this case, maybe if you started it on and turned it off after your pulse.
Let's
so if
do
you
that.
do the opposite, you
Absolutely. Well, interesting. In my write-up, it says to use a keyframe, and I was like, why have I used a keyframe? I wonder if that was for that reason.
yeah. I mean,
So
you just
instead of doing that, we
yeah,
can
not gate
exactly
it.
what you said. Yeah. So we'll get the control sensor. Go to the imp. Okay, so it's off. We want it on initially.
Yep.
And then we're going to. Also, one way would be this way, which is it's on, but we're going to pulse it off after. We're using the timer, so
And keep the keyframe
and put that
permanent. Yes.
So keyframe will fire with a pulse, and then it will keep it off. Hopefully, just double check. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that. Rewind.
And hopefully no imp zip.
Hopefully no imp zip. I can't actually hear the zip.
Ed can provide.
Ed can tell us.
I think it happened at the beginning level. So yeah, rewind. I think we're good. Yeah, there's no imp zip.
Nice. Let's see if I can get depossession to work.
Yeah,
Should
this
work.
this is the proof of the pudding.
Yeah. And I can still depossess and progress. Now, interestingly, I won't go into it, but that fix worked there. But in the way that Burger Van did it, this is just the title screen. And the way later on in the actual level, there was a completely different system for managing the possession of the imp and the character. And it was still fixable, but I think it was just a slight variation on when to turn force possess on and off and how to do it. But essentially, it was the same fix. It was just in a different place. And just to finish off, let's high five this character, because that is pretty much the coolest way to end any level ever.
I am very excited for Super Great Job Human, which
Yes,
the Bergman is working on
next
right now.
installment.
So it's that was amazing. Thank you, Kev, for going
Pleasure.
through those. I'm good.
right?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I
Take a
swallowed
moment.
my own breath. We will timestamp that on our YouTube channel,
Yep.
so you can jump to where you want to get. Where if you're after a particular fix, or if your creation was used to showcase the fix, you can jump straight to it.
Thank you for those who said it was fine for us to edit their levels live. That was very
that
nice
was
of you.
very helpful. If you have any issues, we're supporting Dreams in the exact same way. So any feedback, bugs that you find, let us know on the feedback forums.
Yeah, this process doesn't end just because we're going full release tomorrow.
No, 2 days time.
2 days time.
Yeah.
OMG.
I panicked then.
OMG.
I was like, what?
Oh my god!
And I think that's one of the things we were talking about yesterday. It was like, this is in no way the end of anything. It's literally
No,
just,
absolutely
it's just
not.
another
Backwards
chapter.
compatibility.
Yeah.
If you have an issue and you don't spot it till next week, doesn't matter. Communicate with us. We'll do our best to help you fix it.
Yeah.
And provide feedback. And yeah. Thank you very much.
And thank you everyone that's been in the chat telling us how much you love Art's Dream and the game. It's amazing to hear. And there are a few people in here as well that are going to be picking the game up on Friday, which is very exciting.
Cool.
Not Thursday.
Not Thursday. You could try, but I don't think you're going to be able to get. I think if you go in and ask for Dreams, they're probably going to say no. But if you are watching this and you haven't pre-ordered yet, you can pre-order. You can get an amazing theme, soundtrack, and art book. It's going to be very exciting.
Hold up, you can get the soundtrack.
Oh my god!
I know people have been asking for that. People have been like really into the music. It's really good. We've been very lucky to always have really talented musical people on our games. Like Tearaway, same. Just amazing music. LBP, same.
Everyone on the team is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get.
And not just in audio. Everyone.
Yes.
Everyone's
Every
amazing.
department is amazing.
Yeah,
We're very lucky.
I think it's digital, isn't it? You the feel.
I think it's like an app you download for your PlayStation, so you
Yeah.
can hear it on PS.
So you can listen to it, and because you can play music while you're playing games, you can listen to all sorts going on.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And it's not just the music of Art's Dream. I think it includes other music from Dreams.
Oh, like pieces of. Is Club Monster on there?
I
You
think
mean
it
like
is.
menu music that might appear in a menu or in a
there's,
tutorial?
there's stuff
or-
from the Dreamiverse, there's stuff from the intro of the game, the track called Dreamiverse, which you only hear right at the beginning, which is one of my favourite
cool.
tracks.
Oh.
Obviously stuff from like Dreamiverse Dash and some of the example bits of music. And
Yesterday, I took Club Monster
yeah.
and replaced nearly every instrument with the kazoo.
You are the monster here.
I am the monster. And the look at one of the staff from the other side of the room, they were like,
by replace, do you mean the feature where you can like drag
Drop
an
it.
instrument over another one and
Yeah,
it
and
just
it
takes the
becomes-
mapped notes
Even the drums
and just applies it to the sound?
yes, yeah. It was horrific, but I was very happy with myself.
You need a restraining order from the audio team. You just never touch it. I'm glad you have fun.
Mate, yeah. Quick run through early access people. Yes, I believe. I don't know when you'll get the theme. I think we're just trying to work out if you get it. You basically yes. Basically, you're not going to miss out on the theme. And yes, there we go. I don't think that's any. If you've got any more questions, let us know on Twitter, or Facebook, or Instagram, or by carrier pigeon. And we shall be back on Friday. On Friday, there is a 24-hour dream stream happening with a bunch of community members and us between 4 and 6 p.m. Celebrating the launch of Dream. So please tune in. Keep an eye on our social media for everything going on. We'll be raising money for the Sony Australia Fund for people that were affected by the bushfires in Australia. So if you can donate anything to that, please do. It will be a big, exciting day on Friday. So thank you for watching. We shall see you on Friday, which just so happens to be the day Dreams launches. Woohoo! Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
Bye.